welcome to my channel. My name is SimplyKrystelle. In this video I'll be sharing some important makeup tips for my combo and oily skin people out there. It's gonna help just your makeup last so much longer. So if you want to see this video, make sure you keep watching, and also before we get on to the video, please press the subscribe button down below if you're not subscribed, and also please follow me on my socials. I have Instagram and TikTok. They are all linked down below in the description box. So let's just get on to this video. So the first thing I wanted to mention, and this is not anything makeup related, is your skincare. You want to make sure that you are taking care of your skin prior to doing your makeup, and because the skincare is where it all starts. What you put on your skin does affect the way your skin reacts to makeup. So something that I just want to mention, especially for my combo oily people, is that we do need to hydrate our skin. We do need to put hyaluronic acid on our skin. We do need to moisturize our skin as well. So I feel like the myth has been in the past, oh, don't hydrate your skin if you have combo or oily skin, you know, make sure you're mattifying everything. But when you're doing that, it's actually gonna hurt more than do good. So please make sure that you are taking care of your skin and you are hydrating your skin. Now what you choose to do, what exfoliating treatments you choose to do, that's really personal, but I just wanted to just make sure to say that point, that you do need to hydrate your skin. I'm not saying you to slug your skin in Vaseline, but I'm just saying like hydrating your skin morning and nighttime is very important. The thing that I wanted to mention is prime. Make sure that you are priming your skin before applying any type of foundation. I'm gonna go in with this milk primer. This is the Pore Eclipse matte primer. I've been actually liking this primer. It's been really good on my skin, and this is the texture. It's like it's more of a, I will say, silicone based primer, but I really like it. I'm gonna go in with some color corrector. This has nothing to do with the whole oily skin, it's just a makeup step that I use. But I'm just gonna take this e.l.f. Camo color corrector in orange. And I've actually really been liking color correcting when applying makeup. I just feel like it's really helping balancing out my dark spots, especially along the jawline. Now that I am done color correcting, I'm actually going to go in with my foundation, and I just wanted to mention this tip in this comment. There's this narrative that if you have combination oily skin, you're only supposed to wear mattifying foundations and you're supposed to stay away from natural or radiant foundations, and I think that is completely false, because I have combination oily skin and I do not only wear matte foundations. In fact, I think most of my foundations are more so natural foundations. They're not all like luminous foundations, but I think they're more so like in the middle, and I feel like they work perfectly fine for me. Like for example, my favorite foundation of all times, my number one foundation, is the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. This is not a matte foundation at all. It's more so a natural finish foundation, and it works for my skin so well. I love this foundation. I'm actually almost out of it. I need to order another one because I just love this foundation so much. It's so great. So I'm going to be using this, and I wanted to just mention this tip as well, is that when you are applying foundation, try to apply light as possible, in a sense, in terms of go in with light layers. Do not go in with a bunch of foundation, heavy foundation, because if you cake on all that foundation, it's more likely to look very caked on. It's more likely to separate, and then your oils are going to more likely peek through, and it's not going to look good. It's not going to look natural. So I would really recommend that you start out with a light layer and then build upon that layer and see, okay, let me start out with a light layer, let me see how it looks, and then if you want more coverage, you just go in with another layer. Don't just rush in and just cake on all the foundation, because your skin will most likely look oily and cakey and just not good. So that was just my little rant on that. But I'm just going to take my NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. I have mine in the shade Macao, and I'm going to go in with light layers. So I'm just going to take a pump, the back of my hand. Like I just took this much. I'm going to use this brush from It Brushes for Ulta. And I'm just going to take like this. And as I apply my foundation, I always take it outwardly. I don't go inwardly with my foundation. I like to take it outwardly to my jawline. Now I know we all have imperfections, and obviously the purpose of foundation is to cover that and to, you know, make our skin look really nice. But I really do believe that when you apply your foundation as natural as possible, and like less is more, in my opinion, I just feel like it looks so much more natural, and I do think that your skin is less likely to be oily. So with this foundation, I usually don't do a lot of layers. I usually do one layer, 1 or 2 layers, I would say. So it's looking a little, you know, not as coverage, so I'm just gonna take like 2 pumps. And this foundation, really, like 1 pump is like half a pump. It's very, very, well, my foundation is almost done, so I have to like kind of scrape the bottom. But if you have a full bottle, I feel like 1 pump of this is like really half a pump. But yeah, I would say like, and also when I'm applying with a brush, there's no like certain motion I just kind of like, it's weird. Like when I apply my foundation, I tap, but at the same time I'm moving. Like I'm tapping, but I'm also moving it outwardly at the same time. And that's just how I like to apply my foundation, especially with a brush. I just feel like it blends out the product so much better, and it helps the product to just look so natural on the skin. And honestly, I feel like with complexion products, guys, there's no race. It's not who's gonna finish first. Like, just take your time with it. I think that's also very important, taking your time, finding products that work for your skin, testing out things. You know, it's like trial and error, because everybody's so different. Nobody is the same, you know, and not everything works for everyone. So I just think like just having that patience in trying out different products too is part of the process. That's it for the foundation. As we see, it is looking a little luminous, like around here. And for those of you who don't really like that super luminous glow, I love that luminous glow, as long as it doesn't look like I'm like greasy and oily. But I love my foundation looks like this. But for those of you who don't, I'm going to show you a way that you can always like make sure to keep it kind of more intact and less dewy and less glowy. Go in with some concealer. There's no like specific way to apply concealer to make it less oily. I just think like going in with a full coverage concealer, I think, is the best thing, and a concealer that dries down. Like, I don't know, do they make like glowy dewy concealers? I don't really know any glowy dewy concealers out there. But anyways, I'm used to using the Sephora Best Skin Ever concealer in 44Y, and I'm just gonna take this, and I just use this concealer for the purpose of highlighting certain parts of my face, like my under eye, and then I go down the bridge of my nose. That. And my base is pretty much good. I just have to still do my bronzer and blush. I'm gonna do all that off camera, and I'll be back to show you guys how to set your face. Before I set my face with any powder or anything, I'm gonna take a little bit of this Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless setting spray. I'm just gonna kind of do a little bit of setting with the setting spray, and also debunking a myth. You do not only have to use matte setting sprays if you have combo oily skin. You can use sprays like this. Now, am I saying to use a dewy spray? No, this is not a dewy spray. This is just an Airbrush Flawless setting spray. It's not advertised as a matte setting spray, so just because it doesn't say matte setting spray on it doesn't mean you cannot use it. So I'm just gonna take a very small amount and just set like this. This is just to kind of set what I've already done, and just to kind of also make, when I'm building up layers in the makeup, it's not gonna look cakey. This also helps to thin out everything and just make everything kind of blend in easier when I'm going on with more product. I'm gonna be right back with my face done, and I'm gonna show you guys how I set my makeup and everything, so we can see how to work with this combo oily skin. Okay guys, so I just finished applying with my bronzer and everything. Before like it starts creasing up, I just wanted to go in right away with my setting powder for my concealer. I'm gonna take the One Size translucent setting powder. Now I think setting your under eyes and just setting your whole face in general is very, very, very important. When you set your makeup, it's setting the makeup in place. It's diminishing the chances of your makeup separating and oils peeking through. So you just want to always make sure you set. So I'm just taking this translucent powder and I'm going to set my under eye area with it. I love this powder. This powder is amazing. It's an amazing, amazing powder. And I'm just gonna press it in here underneath my eyes. Like that. And then my under eyes are like have bags under because I have not been sleeping. So I'm gonna press it in here and press it on here. And as I do this, guys, I do this in a pressing motion. I'm not like, I'm pressing it in because I want it to sit on the skin, to like settle in the skin. And I always define my contour or bronzer with setting powder. You can bake for a little bit, like probably like 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. And then after that, I'm gonna take my setting powder, my skin tone setting powder. So when you're setting your face, you wanna make sure that you have your loose setting powder, right, that you use under your under eyes, wherever you apply concealer. And then I personally like to use a pressed skin tone setting powder to set the rest of my face where I do not highlight. The reason why I like to use a pressed skin tone powder is because I feel like with a pressed powder you have more control. I feel like it's very hard setting your face with a loose powder. I don't know, like for me, I just prefer a pressed powder that's just like similar to my skin tone because I just feel like I have more control with the product. But if you love to use a loose setting powder to set your face, then you know, by all means go ahead and do that. But I just really like pressed powders. If you guys want to see a video on the best pressed powders, please let me know and I can get that filmed for you guys. For my skin tone pressed powder, I'm using the Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder in 4. And I like to set my face a little weird. So you see how my skin is like baking, right? So with my skin tone powder, I like to do this. I like to sweep the makeup off with a skin tone powder. So this is what I do. So I take a little bit of the powder here, and then like where I applied this powder here, I go in like this and I sweep off that makeup or that translucent powder that I used with a skin tone powder so that it blends together, so that it's not creating like a white cast. That's what I always do. Under eye is the only area where I do not use the skin tone powder to sweep off the translucent powder, because my under eye is where I applied that concealer to highlight. So, but for the rest of my face, I really like to use that skin tone powder, that pressed powder. And I'm not even gonna lie to you, I felt the oils peeking through my skin. I really felt my skin starting to get a little oily. And then that skin tone powder really helped the oils to stay at bay. For the translucent powder, I like to just take a sponge or even like a brush, but for today I'm just gonna take the sponge and press it in. And I remember earlier my skin was looking more dewy and glowy with that foundation. It still has some shine to it, but it's more so like minimum, I feel. So now that I have all of this setting powder and everything, I don't stop there. I want to make sure I set my skin again with spray. You can use any setting mist that really works for you. I love the Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray from Tilbury. I just feel like it works so good for my skin, and I feel like my makeup lasts so long. So I'm just gonna take this and just really apply a lot of this on, to be honest. Like I always go kind of heavy with setting spray. It just feels good on the skin too. Like I love the feeling of it on the skin. But obviously now my skin looks very wet. You can use a fan to dry yourself. Sometimes I even just use a notebook and I just dry my skin, let my skin dry. I'll be right back because I have to finish the rest of my makeup and I'll show you guys the final look with everything put together. Alright guys, so I'm back now with my full face on and just everything on. I did a very simple look today. I'm wearing a shirt, by the way. It's just, it's like spaghetti strap because one time I got comments saying you're not even wearing a shirt. whatever. But anyways, so this is what the final looks like with everything put together. Just a very simple basic face. As you can see, I did add a little bit of highlight because I did want a little bit of glow to my face when I did turn my face, you know, towards the sun. But look is very oily, combo skin friendly. I just feel like these makeup tips are tips that I use all the time, and my makeup does last and my makeup does not get super oily and separated. And also guys, if you have oily skin, it is what it is. I would also just recommend taking a compact pressed powder with you, and if you need to go to the bathroom and blot your skin, then you need to go to the bathroom and blot your skin. Makeup is not going to last you 10 hours. You will have to touch up because it depends on how oily your skin gets and how fast your skin gets. And some people, they just need to walk around with that pressed powder and blot their skin. I have to. If I'm going out for a long time and I know I'm going to be out for 8 to 10 hours and I'm not going to be able to go back home, I just take a pressed powder in my purse and I take a little sponge or a brush and I go to the bathroom and just, you know, pat my face where it's getting oily. There's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. These are my just makeup tips for my oily and combination skin people out there. I know you're not alone. There's a lot of people who are going through this. I'm one of them, and I hope my tips today were very helpful for you in your makeup application. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like these tips and tricks and all of these, please press the subscribe button down below, and please also let me know by giving this video a thumbs up. I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Until then, bye bye and have a great week.